If you struggle with forgiveness, you aren't alone. The truth is that most everyone does. Oh, you may give lip service like I did and say you forgive, but the emotions linger. The pain comes and goes. You replay the hurt over and over so much, the record is warped and scratched. Yet you really do want to forgive, or you don't, but you know that you want to get unstuck and move on. How? That's the question I struggled with, and many women tell me they do too. Let's dive into today's episode and figure it out together. Find the full transcript for this episode, plus resources for women at Estrangement, Turning Pain into Peace at beckykolb.com/44. You're listening to Estrangement, Turning Pain into Peace, a podcast and free resource for women with estranged relationships, created by me, host and coach Becky Kolb. My superpower is to help you turn your emotional pain into peace by conquering guilt and shame, rebuilding self-confidence, and developing healthy boundaries. I've dealt with estranged relationships most of my life and know both the pain and the peace. Subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss a thing. Now, let's dive into today's episode. One of the critical lessons I learned is that forgiveness is both a decision and a process. If you're like me, you thought you were forgiving someone because you made the decision to do so. You told God that you forgave the person who hurt you. Then why does it feel like you haven't forgiven? That struggle is one that almost everyone faces, and it's because you're relying on the first part, the decision, and forgetting the process part. Let's digress, as you may feel you need to forgive someone, but you just can't seem to do so. Resistance is a real barrier to forgiving someone. You know that God says to forgive, and you've been forgiven. And you know what someone did to you. But does God? Does He know what they said about you? You feel that if He understood that, then He would realize why it's just impossible to forgive them. Struggling to forgive someone is something everyone goes through, whether you're a Christian or not. It doesn't choose a specific group. It's universal. And yet, it's the absolute key to setting your heart free. Isn't that what we all want? Why, then, is it so elusive? In a word, resistance. I have my own reasons, and some of them are probably yours too. Here's a few of mine. They don't deserve it. What they did to hurt me went to the core. If I forgive them, I'm giving the false impression that I desire to reconcile and restart the relationship. I'm just not ready. It's too early. I need to nurse this pain a little longer. It's too late. Too much water has gone under the bridge. Until they apologize, I will not forgive them. Or perhaps you just don't feel like they deserve the forgiveness because it was just too hard, too painful for you. Well, that's a big deterrent in the process of forgiveness, and yet it's one I've been through. You're relying on another's actions and therefore giving them control over your life. That was a gobsmacker for me. I was struggling with forgiveness because I had unknowingly given control to the other person over my life. That was a game changer. Unstuck. That's what I wanted more than anything. Don't you? I was tired of wallowing in this mess, replaying the hurt over and over, figuring out my response if ever there would be an occasion, allowing the hurt to create anger, and then resentment, and finally, bitterness. Triggers would come and go. I made the decision to forgive and thought that I had, until a trigger came and chaos ensued in my mind. I wanted to be done with it, permanently. Through my reading and praying, I determined that it was both a decision and a process. The truth is, I had been through this before, and I recognized some of the same emotional setbacks. Years ago, I prayed diligently for God to change someone's heart. And do you know what He said to me? Not audibly, of course, but I sensed it in my spirit that He was saying, yes, I can change their heart, but first I need to change yours. Well, that nearly knocked me off my chair. What? Wasn't I the one asking for forgiveness and praying for reconciliation? Wasn't that a heart that would please God? Well, yes, if my heart hadn't been bitter and full of resentment. I hadn't even realized it. It's amazing what God will tell you when you ask. My prayer life changed. I began to ask God to work in my heart, to soften it and take away the root of bitterness that had sprung, and to replace it with love and hope, to trust Him to do the work both in me and in them. If reconciliation came, so be it. If it didn't, I needed to trust and accept that. Eventually, forgiveness came. Reconciliation and restoration were the end result, but it took time. The decision to forgive had been made, so wasn't that enough? Shouldn't I feel different? I thought I should, but I didn't. To me, that meant that I truly hadn't forgiven. What was missing? What else did I need to do? Missing was the process portion of forgiveness. I knew from past experience that it wasn't a one and done, but it was a hard lesson to learn. The truth is that God will continue to put these experiences in front of us because relationships are hard. I'm here to encourage you if you're struggling with forgiveness. Don't beat yourself up. Emotions run deep. Have you ever been around or seen someone digging a well? Rarely do they discover water quickly. The operator must continue to lower the tool into the ground. Sometimes a great depth is required to find water. Our emotions are like that. That's part of the forgiveness process. Healing your emotions takes time to dig deep and look at them, acknowledge and deal with them, and that can be painful. I used alcohol, as you may have heard in earlier podcasts, to numb my pain for many years. When I quit drinking, I was left to deal with the deep emotions that I tried hard to stuff. With Bible, pen, and journal in hand, I went to work. A coach helped me when I became stuck. Eventually, I worked through the deep-seated emotional pain and forgave those who had contributed to my wounds. The process of forgiveness lasts as long as it does. You may work through your emotional pain quickly, depending on the situation and how deep the wounds are. However, it may take a year or two or more. The first decision to make is to forgive. Write it in your journal. Tell someone that you've forgiven that person, and certainly tell God that you desire to be obedient to Him, and therefore you're making the decision today to forgive them. That's the easy part. Consequently, you've just set in motion the next step, which is beginning the process. Let me encourage you here that you can heal and move forward without the apology of the person who hurt you. You don't need their permission to forgive them, nor do you need them to acknowledge what they did. You control your emotions and ability to heal. Your healing is your choice, and forgiveness is the first step in that healing. One author I read shared her process of forgiving, and it was to write down each of the wrongs that had been inflicted. One by one, she wrote them and verbally stated to God in prayer that she was forgiving the person for them, each one as she named them. What a great idea. Whatever method you choose, acknowledge the wrong. Own your feelings that you have felt over it in the past, and then begin the process of working through those emotions. It isn't easy, but boy, is it worthwhile. Struggling with forgiveness is a universal issue. You have a challenging time with it, and so do I. But you want to get unstuck and move forward desperately. You've tried, and it just doesn't seem to work. Start again, and this time make the decision, and then begin the process with your journal, Bible, and pen. Be consistent. Be honest. God knows what you're thinking, so just tell Him. It feels good to verbalize it. And be prepared for the unexpected as He brings things to your mind that you've not considered. Be open to His leading and to examining your own heart and hidden things He wants you to see and deal with. He isn't punishing you, and He's not upset with you. Quite the opposite. He's thrilled you're willing to struggle with forgiveness, and He's there to help you. Are you withholding forgiveness to someone who wronged you? Do you want to heal and move forward? Are you willing to put in the work and go through the process? If you are, then God is ready. He's waiting for you. Go to the well where your emotions are buried. Sit with Him and ask Him to help you as you offer forgiveness for the wrongs. Ask Him to help you work through your emotions so that you can respond in a healthy way. No one understands your struggle more than God, and no one wants to help you get through this more than Him. If you're searching for peace and freedom from struggling with forgiveness, then this is the place to start. You can do it alone. Sorry about that. You can't do it alone, as I found out. The Holy Spirit will help you as you open your heart and ask. And if you feel the need for more help to get unstuck, that's my jam, and I would love to help you. Reach out at beckykolb.com/contact. And until next time, stay strong, stay in the Word, and stay on your knees. Prayer is a powerful tool in family conflict, and learning to forgive will set you on the path to freedom. Thanks for listening to Estrangement, Turning Pain into Peace. Estrangement is a difficult topic for many, and I applaud you for tuning in. Don't forget to check out earlier episodes too, and please share this with others who may need to hear. And if you're getting value, I would appreciate a short review.